With Herman Cain out of the race, is Michele Bachmann poised for a second surge? And is there a biblical precedent for electing a woman president? Many people forget that Michele Bachmann had a first surge that briefly made her the GOP Presidential Primary frontrunner. She appealed to secular conservatives due to positions espousing smaller government and lower taxes. And she appealed to Evangelical Christians who loved her unashamed positions on issues of faith.
Today I'm filing my paperwork to be the Republican nominee for President of the United States.
But somewhere along the way, buyer's remorse set in. Some evangelicals questioned the biblical teachings on women submitting to their husbands, wondering if they might be sinning by supporting and voting for a woman president. So the question is there a biblical precedent for having a woman president? Yes, in a word, Deborah. The book of Judges in chapters 4 and 5 explains an eerily similar pattern to today's economic and political state of the United States of America. Ancient Israel had fallen on tough times. They had rejected Yahweh God and embraced the ways of the world. They were surrounded by their enemies, and their men didn't have the moral fortitude to do what was necessary to survive. Enter Deborah, a prophetess, a righteous judge, and mother in Israel. Read Congressman Michele Bachmann with 5 biological children and 23 foster children. A man named Barak. Really, we're not making this stuff up. Barak was supposed to lead the Israelites to fight evil Jabin's Canaanite army commander Sisera. But Barak wimped out, refusing to go unless Deborah went with him. So Deborah stepped up to the plate and led the charge, but prophesied that the glory of the battle would go to a woman. Ultimately, Deborah's ally Jael, who by the way is another woman, killed cruel Commander Sisera by hammering a tent peg through his temple, ushering in 40 years of peace for Israel. The conclusion? There is a biblical precedent set for God sending a woman to do a man's job when a man isn't willing to boldly go and get the job done. And today, in our quest for a moral champion, we have witnessed a long line of conservative men who have had their shot but failed for one reason or another. Rick Perry, for instance, entered both barrels blazing but floundered in the debates. Herman Cain went from frontrunner to perceived moral failure. While Ron Paul is a professing pro-life Christian and a doctor delivering babies to boot, he refuses to end abortion completely if he's elected because he's of the libertarian denomination. So that leaves important moral matters like abortion and drug use to individual states to decide. Hey, how's that working for you? The problem along the lines of that is a single state could allow abortion and 49 could not allow abortion, but what would happen? People would cross state lines to get what they want. Robotic Romney was never so much as seen with a hair out of place. He's got double trouble because of 2 problematic areas to Christians. Number 1, he's a Mormon, and number 2, he's a liberal. At least, according to a lot of people, remember his record from Massachusetts. And with Herman Cain quitting amidst suspicions of moral failure, how on earth will Newt Gingrich survive such a similar situation? Public scrutiny will be there over cheating on his first wife and marrying his mistress, and then only to cheat on his mistress-turned-wife again to marry another? And alas, Huntsman, he's a younger version of Bob Dole. So who does that leave? Rick Santorum and Michele Bachmann. Now, while Santorum stands for the right issues, he has proven to be a bit shaky in the heat of battle, inexplicably backing a string of liberals, including the infamous liberal Republican Arlen Specter in Pennsylvania, instead of the staunch conservative Pat Toomey. Bottom line, the only man left standing is a woman, and her name is Michele Bachmann, and she is set for a second surge.